Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07 and today we are back to playing a regular domain zoo. Okay, so I updated my zoo list with 4 Orcish Bowmaster. It's a big hit card right now, everyone is playing it, and it's also a great card to play in domain zoo. I'm always interested in this deck is in playing additional threats without streaming on interaction. So this was previously possible, and this is the reason why I was interested in playing Invasion of Tarkir. It was a card that was a burn spell, a removal that could sometimes deal even more than 2 damage when you had this Son of Draco. Also, it could deal additional damage upon every attack with a Scion and with the flipped Invasion of Tarkir. That was the reason why I was interested in the card, and it worked out very well. I was happy with it. But now there is a new card doing very similar thing. This can also be used to burn your opponent to face, ping in 1 damage, then attack them for 2. Then each draw they make, this pings another damage and grows the Orc token. I think it's a good fit for the zoo. Also with Scion, it gives Bowmaster and the token lifelink, which can be pretty cool in some matchups, maybe important a lot, like against Burn. I think in this variant, this deck has a lot of great solutions to the One Ring. There is a Leyline Binding, there is Stubborn Denial, there is now Orcish Bowmasters. All of these cards can be played very efficiently against it. I think it's a good way to play Zoo at the moment, and I had good results so far with this list. So recently I played 2 leagues, ended up going 4-1 in both of them. We'll go through one of them right now. So the sideboard is changed a lot too. There is not a lot hammer. Hammer is in a really bad position right now. Like it's really rarely played. It was one of the most played decks for some time, but in comparison to that time, it's like really a small amount of people play it at this moment. So also the Amulet Titan is not very popular at the moment. It is good deck. It is still played, but not just. Um, I just don't see it a lot. Probably has a bad Dimir control matchup, and that deck is really powerful, really popular right now. So that's the reason why I included 2 Wheel of Summers. Also, the Jund is out there, the Grixis Shadow. All decks very much played at the moment. So I think Wheel of Summer will be very good. Still have Tear Asunder as a ring solution for some matchups. Have a Celestial Purge in the sideboard, a new addition. In addition to the Chain to the Rocks, these 4 cards are ultimate red-black scam hate cards. Chain to the Rocks, 1 mana, Celestial Purge, 2 mana, but they all exile creatures. But the Purge also exiles any black and red permanent, including the Blood Moon. So when you're playing against Red Black Scam, these 4 cards are your ultimate hate cards for the matchup. Also on the play, I use Wheel of Summers. On the draw, I switch it for the Tear Asunder. That is my new plan for the sideboarding in that matchup, which is very frequent right now, very important. And that is it. Okay, so rest is pretty much similar. I just added a 22nd land, and my choice for the 22nd land is a Godless Shrine because we need additional black source with the Orcish Bowmasters. So often you will struggle casting your Bowmasters if you don't have slightly more of these black sources available. So the Wooded Foothills misses the shrine, and Flawless Strand misses the tomb. So I think having 2 of them is necessary to be able to always get a black source with your fetch. If you are forced to do so, so you don't have to get a tapped Triumph. And that is it. Okay, rest of the sideboard and the main board is same as before, and we are now going to go through one of that leagues. Okay, this is the last league. I finished 4-1, and the first league I lost to the Dredge, which they played first, and it's absolutely hard matchup, impossible to win with the hand they had. So it was like a 10 seconds match, game 1, 10 seconds, game 2, so I'm going to just skip that. Let's go on immediately to the match 2, and we will watch the 4 games, all of them were wins. Okay, so I was playing first here, had a decent hand, Valnekatl. Let's just mention when you're playing on the draw, nowadays you kind of have to go for the Temple Garden when playing the Valnekatl. So this way it won't die to the Orcish Bowmaster ping. I think this is very important to know. I played a Silent Jacob before combat to give my creatures trample in case my opponent wants to go block sec. Also did draw this card there, get the Orcish Bowmasters, and yeah, opponent kind of needs a wonder to survive the next turn, and yeah, pretty quick one. They played the Samwise combo. Deck that is fun to play, sometimes fun to do the combo stuff, but I don't believe it's a very good position at the moment. So game 2, I keep a strange hand, 2 resting pieces, Sino Jaco. I decide to go, I find the chain, so I decide to go turn 1 chained on bird, then wait until turn 3 to cast the Scion. I was able to kill a devoted druid immediately, and my opponent played a ranger, getting Viscera Seer. So I finally got the Scion there, and with Rest in Peace, I was pretty safe from them comboing, and they were on 1 card in hand at the moment. But 1 Coco gets them really close to the combo. Okay, I decided against trading there because I wanted to start attacking with Nishoba Brawler, and I had my Valtnen Cuttles available for trade. And yeah, the last card in their hand was I should have probably played the Rest in Peace immediately, but they had just 1 card in hand. I was not able to cast the Hiretsugu because I had 2 Wild Cuttles, so it wouldn't be really good. They did a couple of these abilities before my Rest in Peace resolved again, so they gained a little bit life, put me down to the 7. And but it was fine for me. I was able to attack and stay in block with the rest of creatures. I didn't yet want to put the Zagotrium on the field. Was waiting until so I can cycle it probably. And yeah, so in this situation, I went for the cycle. I decided attack with everything. And if they go for the attacks, I could possibly use Bolt on Skyclave to get a 2/2 token and then block a creature. But again, they went for the Rest in Peace, and then I changed my plan to bolting the Viscera Seer. Should have probably bolted the Cauldron Familiar, but yeah, Viscera Seer is also a bit dangerous there, so I decided for the Viscera. Then of course, I found another creature which enabled me to go continue attacking with Nekatal, staying back with Territorial Kavu, mostly safe from the win. They had the infinite mana on the field, so if they got the Ranger Captain Diaz or Ballista in the hand, I would definitely lose, but they had a few turns to try to get it, and I had a lot of pressure. So it was pretty much they needed to have it next turn to be able to live, and this didn't happen. So this was a GG. I mean, they survived on 2, but they needed again a top deck, didn't find it, and it was over. Okay, so we can now go to the match 3. Playing first again. Decent hand, nothing crazy, just Just a brawler and a cow and some lands. But when you're playing first, there is a higher chance you will probably be able to discard one of these lands, get a redraw. It was a Living End. Zoo usually has a good matchup against Living End. As I go for the Territorial Cow, they were able to put a lot of creatures in their graveyard, so the Cow exile clause wasn't going to be really relevant, but I needed to pressure my opponent's life total, see if they'll get the land on time. If they don't get it, they slip, and I have a lethal next turn. I also get a redraw here, finding a burn spell or stubborn denial. Didn't get it. Just got another land, which was pretty terrible. But yeah, opponent wasn't able to find a third land on time, and I had a lethal next turn, so they concede. Okay, for the game 2, you can find my sideboard guide either on my Discord or in the Zoo Discord, but it is a bit outdated, but still most can be applied to the recent lists. It is pretty similar still. But here you can also see how I sideboarded for this matchup. Bindings are out. They don't do much. Flusterstorm's in. Rest in peace, of course. That's it. When they tapped the mana, I was certain they can play the Living End this turn, so I just played the Bowmaster. Bowmaster pings them for every creature they cycle, so it's a decent threat here. Also can be played instant speed, which is a big plus. And I was able to cast my Cow here, hold the Flusterstorm, which means I'm safe from the Living End next turn. And then I untap with another Stubborn Denial and a Bolt and a lot of pressure already on the field. Also got a second Stubborn Denial, which was now already kind of an overkill. Didn't want to attack with the Bowmasters into the Shardless, so I just went with the Kavu. Play Rest in Peace and still hold the Stubborn Denial. I got the Bowmaster's ping and resolve the Rest in Peace. Even if I didn't resolve it, still I had the Stubborn Denials, but this was just mainly overkill, and my opponent just also had the Sign of Draco. If they just go for Living Ends to kill my creatures. Had another very good one in my hand that can end the game quickly. And with all of this and the bolts in my hand, they went for it, and they to kill my creatures, of course, with the outburst. They even had one counter spell, I think, backup, but Stubborn Denial did the job. I had to wait another turn to finish my opponent with a bolt, but yeah, that was it. Okay. That was match 3. Let's watch now the match 4. Against Autumn Lily, playing Dimir Control. Very popular deck right now. I think Domain Zoo is having a favorable matchup here. A lot of answers to the ring. There is Stubborn Denials, Leyline Bindings, Orcish Bowmaster is good against their Bowmaster, but also good against the One Ring. Also very easy to sideboard in this matchup. You will see, basically, you just take out Ragavans because they're pretty bad here against the Bowmasters. Is the weakest threat, so you just take out the Ragavans for some wheels and the Tears Under. That's the sideboard plan here. Okay, I was able to. They tapped the mana, so I had the Stubborn Denial in hand. I decide to use it. Immediately get rid of their counterspell, play my Orcish Bowmaster, ping their Bowmaster, let them kill my Nekatl. I decided to save the Nakato, and yeah, they decided to get the Lorien in this situation. I find another Bowmaster which was pretty good. Still had option to go Ragavan Dash. They only had one island untapped, so I went in for 5 damage, putting my opponent on 10 with the 2 Tribal Flames in hand. That's pretty good. Pretty good actually. So, but yeah, our opponent they played Murktide, Regent, and I decided to play all my cards immediately, save another Tribal Flames, and my opponent had the Bowmasters. They really needed the Bowmasters in this situation to be able to survive the turn. If I had another red source, I would be able to try to go for the kill, but this way the Bowmasters plus Murktide enabled the opponent to stabilize and finish me off with the Murktide. So that was it. Okay, let's check out how the rest of the 2 games went. Okay, now playing first, I had double Tira Sanders, which is not really a card I want to have in a starting hand, but it's still fine. With the kicker, you can get rid of the most stuff from their deck. So this is the reason why Dimir is a decent matchup for Domain Zoo. It is actually Sino Draco. Pre-board, they almost don't have anything to get rid of this. They can only kill it with Sheldred's Edict. That is literally the only card that can kill it. And it's very hard for a deck to deal with the turn 2 Sino Draco when the Zoo is on the play. So this time they had it, the Thirst and the Edict. So I was able to go Tribal Flames face, play the Wild Nakato. They got Sheldred there. So I decided to not let them gain life, but to go with the Wild Nakato. Put my opponent on 3 life, means they have to deal with Wild Nakato next turn. And they again find a solution for it. They had again a Murktide. I find a land to kicker the Tear Asunder, no counter spells there, but opponent had subtlety to trade with Valnakatal, survive on 2 life. I was still in a good position, had a Scion and Tear Asunder for the 1 ring, so pretty happy with this. I decided to go Giganta hand to be able to play the another threat next turn if they kill this. And they did kill it actually, so I just went for Giganta. It is hard situation for the opponent. They have to find an immediate solution for any threat, and the Giganta. This is a good example how Giganta sometimes just wins the match. It's just another big threat. Opponent has to have immediate good solution for it, or they lose. And yeah, great example how Giganta can be very valuable, especially in this Dimir control matchup. So it's probably now Giganta better than ever, because these matchups are really fun. They're grindy and take longer. And yeah, so I think they're a bit favored for Zoo, but still matchup is very interesting and fun and to play. Really like it. Okay, had to mulligan this one. Went for the 6 cards, 6 decent cards. 3 lands, Wheel, Flames, Scion, as I said. And yeah, Scion of Draco is so good here. And I had a Wheel of Summer. I didn't want to play Scion of Draco turn 2, and I find Valnekatel here, which was definitely good matchup. Good draw for me. My opponent had a solution for the Wheel of Summer, so they did succeed the fatal pushing the Valnekatel, but now I was able to resolve my Scion Draco with the Stubborn Denial backup. That is really the position I like to be in. And they have so a low amount of solutions for the Scion. Once I Stubborn Denial this one and top decked another Scion, suddenly my opponent was in a very hard situation, but I was kind of feared the damnation and I didn't want to play the second Scion, so I kept it in my hand this time. Okay, they go Sauron's Ransom. I split it, and they take Damnation into their hands. So they had a solution for the Scion of Draco, and I didn't. That was the reason why I didn't play my second Scion. My opponent went for the Damnation, of course, and I had opportunity to go a double spell now. So I resolved my second Scion of Draco, which means it was lethal next turn. But opponent had a solution for it, a strange solution, but they had a subtlety plus the Bowmaster. But this means they were on 0 cards at this point, so I just played my double Bowmasters, which were also lethal next turn for damage, and opponent concedes. That was the full game. Okay, let's now watch the final match of the league against Nicholas Gem. They usually play Blood Moon decks, which can be hard for Zoo, but this time they played Blue-White Scam. They went with turn 1 Grief, taking Ragavan. There was some cool interaction in this deck. They had Sickening Shoals in, I think, together with the Troll of Khazad Doom. That's kind of interesting. Not sure if they had a Persist. I saw some decks having Persist to go turn 1 Cycle Troll, turn 2 Persist Troll, get a 5/4 hard to block creature, a kind of fair reanimator plan. Okay, so opponent didn't attack, they were holding Grief for the blocks. I was afraid of Ephemerate, so I didn't want to try to kill it before, but now I had the Stubborn Denial backup, so I wasn't afraid of that. Just I was able to start attacking now. They went for the Shieldred, and they really needed a solution for this one. It can gain them really a lot of life. So I just passed the turn, holding the Stubborn Denial if necessary. If not, I decided to go for a cycle end of turn. This time I found the Kavu and continued attacking with the Sheldred. They attempted on doing the Molecule Rebirthing, but I had the Stubborn Denial to prevent this. Still, they traded with Nishova Brawler, but I was lucky to get rid of the Sheldred. And still had another Denial in hand with the Territorial Kavu in hand. It was a good situation. And again, another example of how good Giganta can be. Every even smallly grind matchup like this one, you can really get full value out of Giganta. So I play the Scion Draco, still hold the Denial. My opponent is forced to concede they can get out of this. So that is it. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, I started with the Ragavan. Opponent was playing first, but they had pretty bad hand. I'm not sure why they even kept this one. They had, of course, they had a Shining Shoal here. They exiled the Vindicate. Then they also had the Sickening Shoal, I think, this game. I didn't have any threats. If I had some threats, probably would win much easier. But yeah, they were probably trying to go to the mid game where they're able to hardcast their solitudes, their griefs. And I found the territorial Kavu, so finally able to play the Kavu, hold the stubborn denial. Pretty happy with this plan. Opponent went to grief, which was fine by me. Didn't mind the grief. They take stubborn denial, which was kind of weird. So just bolting the grief, started attacking and discarding lands, and get Giganta hand. Opponent used another Shining Shoal to get rid of my Kavu, then played the Sheldred. Luckily I had plenty of options. For Sheldred, the Tribal Flames is very good solution for it. Decided to go for the Giganta this turn, and next turn play the Scion plus hold multiple interaction. Really liked that plan. Opponent of course holded Solitude as their last card and top decked the One Ring. That was pretty nice top deck. I played two of my creatures there, still holding the Stubborn Denial. My opponent is pretty high on life, but I can probably just quickly put it very low. Opponent finds another grief, taking the flames and playing the Sanctifier, which is great blocker for Kavu. Still holding Bolt plus Stubborn Denial. I have a first strike on Kavu, so they can't really trade with my Kavu. He can just champ it with a Sanctifier to prevent 2 damage, but still 3 damage goes through from the trample. And I had a Brawler there, which really pressured their life total. Still a Stubborn Denial. And there is a Vindicate. I decided to use my Stubborn Denial on it, but they, I mentioned this before, they had the Sickening Shoal, pretty cool card. They exiled actually Troll of Khazad-dûm to play it. I really like that one. They traded here well with Grief for my Brawler and jumped Kavu with Sanctifier. Played another ring to prevent the self-kill. And another Sanctifier was really good. I go for attacks anyway just to do the redraw, but only to get another land. Opponent in this situation goes to 4, but now has a lot of cards in their hand, and this means they're in a pretty good situation. Hard for me to get out of this one. Okay, but I get Tribal Flames in my hand. They went Solitude Ephemerate. I was fine by this. Still had my Tribal Flames, so I go for the Flames here, try to finish the opponent, but they had another Solitude to exile their Solitude. So to gain life, but I tried to fetch in response. I hoped I have another blue source, but I ended up not having it. So Flames did just 4 damage. But opponent, instead of exiling the Solitude, they decided to exile their Sanctifier, which wasn't not enough because of the Wandering. So in the upkeep, they also had to exile their Sanctifier, their second Sanctifier with Solitude, and top decked Fulminator Mage to kill my only red source. I top decked the Bolt, but didn't have a red source to play it right now. And it didn't matter because opponent died from the One Ring. So that can happen too. And you always have to count on it, especially when you're playing aggressive deck like Domain Zoo. You have to like use One Ring so it helps your cause of bringing your life total, opponent's life total below 0. That's it. Okay, so hope you like the gameplay, hope you like the list. If you want to help the channel, click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. And until the next time, announcing short break, 6-7 days probably, until I'm on my summer vacation. I'll be thinking about new deck lists. So when I come back, will have probably a lot of fresh stuff to work with. And that's it. Thank you for watching until now, and goodbye.